The wait is almost over as we welcome you in on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. The Demons of Northwestern State come to town to take on 14th ranked Baylor as the Bears, your defending Big 12 champions from the 2018 campaign. Welcome to Betty Lou Mays Field, everybody. Lincoln Rose along with Jessica Stamp. And Jessica, Happy New Year. Finally time for a brand new season here on Big 12 Now. And for the Baylor Bears, high expectations, and they can start checking off their to-do list here in the preseason.
Well, they came off of 20 wins from a year ago, and they won the Big 12 regular season. They went back to the Final Eight in the NCAA tournament. So like you said, the expectations are high, but we're going to see a lot of new faces on this field tonight. So it's going to be, can they gel together to establish a team that can continue that legacy that they've created the last few years?
Talk about new faces. That's the story for both teams. In fact, for Baylor, you lose a player like Julie James, 10 goals last year. Who can step up to fill some of that scoring void this year?
Well, not just scoring, but leadership on the team, right? But I think that the person they're going to look to continue to score up top is Cameron Winlet. She actually tied with Julie James for the most goals on the team last year with 10. But they're going to have to lean on her a lot more since James is not in the mix. They're going to need her aerial presence as well since James was that big force off of corner kicks.
And they're still looking for someone to step up for Northwestern State. Shutout in their opener. Again, they too graduated the Southland Conference's leading goal scorer 1 year ago. And I know you have your eye on Dragicevic.
Yeah, Olivia Dragicevic played really well in their exhibition match earlier this year. She scored twice. So there's someone who maybe they're going to find on the counterattack today. They might be a little bit outmatched across the field by Baylor. So they're going to look to get her the ball as much as possible so that she can create some magic up top.
Now, even some of these freshmen were essentially inherited by the Jobs, where soccer recruiting starts so young. Talked to Paul Johnson about how many of these players are the result of winning those titles in terms of recruiting pitch. And he says most of these players were still already buying into the program before we won those 2 titles. But it'll get a little bit easier when you're sitting in the living room and you have a couple of trophies to point to moving forward. Looking for Paget. Again, she continues to be matched up with Natalie Henry. And Henry has held her own.
Coach Jobson talked about the importance of consistency, and he's going to have to establish that now that this crop of seniors that got to the Elite Eight twice in a row, back-to-back, a lot of them have left and established that legacy and expectation of winning championships. They won the regular season championship. So it's not just consistency over a season, it's consistency year to year, that's the type of standard we set.
And this will simply be a toss for Baylor.
There really are few teams that can keep that kind of consistency. We've seen West Virginia do really. We were talking about Oklahoma State before the game and how they had really seemed to be one of the leaders in the Big 12. And recently it's been Baylor who has been up there every single year competing for a championship.
A laid off, beautiful stroke. Off the left boot of Gorman. The freshman from Bend, Oregon, bends it inside the far post to open up her account.
Nothing feels better than when you hit the ball this well and it goes in the back of the net. You just feel it coming off your foot, just hit it perfectly, especially when it's rolling across your body like that. Sometimes that's hard to hit the ball right in the middle, but Gorman hits it, smacks it in the middle to hit that far post.
Michaela grew up in Oregon after her dad wore a slightly different shade of green for the Ducks in his college soccer career. And finally, some insurance on the board for Baylor here in their season opener.